Okay. Are we live? Let's see. Okay. So we have a poor connection. Let's see. Let's see how laggy we are. It doesn't seem like the end of the world. I mean, it is a little laggy, but I think we can make do with what we got here. So yeah, I mean, I was just looking at GTO and Pith network. Just to walk you through what I was looking at on GTO here. What I want to do is actually drop this link onto my Twitter. So let's see here. All right, so we do have somebody in here. If you have any requests, feel free to drop it in. I will try to chart as best as I can. Just drop it in the comments there. But in the meanwhile, let me go ahead and get this link going. Post it on my x.com account. All right. So, yeah, if you have any requests, go ahead and drop it in the chat. I'm going to walk you through my thoughts on GTO. This is actually a pretty interesting trade. I've been watching it for a while. Let me go ahead and just make it full screen. So I have been watching this for a while. You know, it's just been having some very bearish price action. Obviously, once it launched, it went up a little bit, but since then, it's just been selling off, making lower highs, lower lows, range bound, breaking below the range, back testing it as resistance, range bound, drops down some more, lower lows, and now we're at a different range, right? So down here, let me try to make it a little bit bigger for you. So down here now is some new ranges. So lower low, lower high, range bound, lower high, and then right here is where it started to change, right? So right here, it created a higher low right off the value area low and the daily. Still made a lower high, but it made a higher low once again and then impulsed up. So I was kind of watching this because I had a few trend lines drawn, right? Price broke out, back tested it, and then impulsed up higher. Obviously, we got this move because of ETH. But what I'm really looking at with this GTO, because it's a brand new launched coin, I think it just made a higher high. So at some point it's going to come down and make a higher low. And that's when it would be a good time to enter a long. I did actually enter a long position here, but I closed it pretty quickly. I only made about 1%. Entered on this wick, and yeah, closed it around a 2% gain. Just a quick scalp, nothing crazy. Just because I was expecting price to come down just a little bit more. This is at a monthly level, so it is a pretty important level. What I would like is for it to come down and test this level. So it's a swing failure pattern could happen here, right? We can get something like this, comes down, tests the anchored VWAP, comes back up, swing failure these levels, and I'd like for it to come up to here before continuing a little bit higher, right? So Solana and AVAX. Yeah, so I can take a look at that here in a second. So yeah, that's where I'd really be interested in to re-enter along on GTO. We need to see it lose this monthly a little bit, tap the golden pocket, tap the VWAP, reclaim this level here, reclaim the monthly, and then right there would be a nice level to then long to the upside. And what I would be expecting it to do is for price to then go and sweep these highs. So that's like a 10% high, 10% run. So let's see here. Yeah, so just like that, and then price would go up, sweep the highs, and possibly backtest that level as resistant, and then that would be a nice short entry right there, right? So boom, right around there, stop loss 2% high, manage your position size. So this way it is 1% risk. You don't want to risk more than 1% per trade. And that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and take a look at Solana. We'll take a look at that first. All right, so where are we? Let's see what's going on here. It's always good to start on the higher time frames. I had a few levels mapped out. Monthly level, as you can see, this is where the monthly open occurred. So we had a monthly open right around here, and that's just the monthly level. So actually, let me go ahead and switch that. There we go. And boom. So monthly level, as you can see, price just came up, massive U, right? It's like basically like a cup, and it looks like it might come down and do a little handle before breaking out. Wouldn't be surprised if it just does something like that, breaks out, taps these levels, reclaims this, and goes a little bit higher. But let's go ahead and zoom in a little bit more. So for Solana here, that monthly was a key level. Let me just double check something here. Okay, that's good. Weekly, there's a weekly level here. I mean, you could, this is technically another weekly, but the week did just begin. This weekly's already been tapped. Let's check the daily levels. So this was an important daily level, flipped as resistance. I'll leave it here to see if we do come down and test this daily on top of this golden pocket here. And I did pull the golden pocket from these. I pulled a fib from this low to the swing high. All right, so we're right there, and as you can see, it lines up pretty much perfectly because this is resistance. As you can see, resistance, 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 impulse through it, all the way up to the monthly level, tapped the monthly, and basically sold off. So I had this descending parallel channel mapped out. As you can see, we have a dynamic resistance going up to as well. And I would expect price to basically come down and tap those levels. You can pull another fib from this pivot low before the impulse up, and you can see price did react off that. The 786 is also lining up with this other fib from below too as well, which is kind of interesting. But let's see here. Maybe we could adjust this slightly. Decent price action. formed a low here. This is an interesting area, but the most interesting area so far would be right at these lows right here. So as you can see, if we just zoom in a little bit here, you can see the whole market basically went up. Right now it doesn't really seem like the best place to enter a long position, in my opinion, for Solana. It went up, it swept these highs, took some liquidity. It's fighting this dynamic resistance heading down, so it got very close. This is basically just like a resistance zone. So it got close, got rejected, came down, and if we go ahead and zoom in a little bit more, right, we can see, let's look at some of these levels here. Let's go with the 4 hour first. So here was a level of support, right? So if we can, let me just go ahead and just draw a quick line really quick. Let's just see. There we go. So yeah, as you can clearly see, after it tapped the monthly, it had a nice move down, and this initial pivot low is almost like I could almost call it like an anchor resistance, right? Support resistance, because as you can see, price reacted it along this level pretty well, swept it a few times, back tested it, stayed above, impulsed higher, failed it. Look at this, came all the way down, and then it still managed to pretty much close right above this level. So that's a very important level. As you can see, price failed, came down to this golden pocket, came back up, tested it, and if I just zoom in here, you can see never closed above, never closed above, never closed above, just wicked above it, got rejected, and then the same thing just happened. So even after this solid move up, price still cannot close above this level. So I wouldn't really consider entering a long position on Solana right here. You know, some people might have actually joined in on a short, placed their stops above here, because technically it did grab the liquidity of this high. It didn't grab the liquidity of this high, but if it did, that high would have been outside of this descending channel, right? Which it is respecting this channel right now. So some people can try to enter a short. For me, I think it's a little too late because it's probably bouncing off some local support right now, as you can see. If we zoom in, all right, let me go ahead and get rid of this. If you zoom in, there's a level here. And let me just draw a quick little box. So this is basically your support zone. As you can see, resistance, 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 flipped it, and now this is support. So, you know, I mean, if you wanted to get really aggressive, you can try to maybe long it back up to this line. It's not really a good area, in my opinion. It could be a 2% pump. But let's go ahead and check something here. Nope, so it's probably the 0.5. Yep, look at that. So not a terrible area. I mean, if you really wanted to take an aggressive long, you can. It's not the worst idea, right? It is at the low, bouncing off this support resistance level and the 0.5 fib, 50% retracement. You could put your stop right below that low, right? Which would be technically a very aggressive scalp long if you're trying to go for 2%, or if you're trying to target the previous highs, 7%, which, you know, to be honest, I think that could actually happen. I would not be surprised if price goes up and sweeps these highs, takes the liquidity, right, comes down, back test, and moves higher. What'd you say? My investing for a long time. Which one? Solana? So let's see here. So the end of the year. That's a long ways away. But the end of the year, who knows where any of these prices will be. We're just hoping that it'll be up, right? But yeah, for Solana, you know, I am in the short term. I'm more bearish than bullish right now, to be honest. I think price should come down. And I'm only saying that too as well because you have to take a look at Bitcoin, right? So go ahead and look at Bitcoin. Even though it is consolidating above the yearly, which is pretty bullish, right? So if we go ahead and zoom in, that is pretty bullish. It's just staying above this yearly high. Until we get another move above these highs, it seems that price just wants to go back down. But whenever Bitcoin goes down, it gets eaten up, right? The bulls step in. So that right there is a little bit bullish, but there's still a ton of liquidity down here that needs to get grabbed. They pulled liquidity from here, but you know, there's stops under here, stops under here. So I would expect Bitcoin, I would love to see Bitcoin come down to this level, right? This 43,000 level. And with that being said, then ETH, which just went on a crazy run, would most likely, as you can see, I was thinking about entering a short position here. That would then bring ETH maybe around 2,400, possibly even 2,300, or back to the point of control, right? But after all of these bullish moves up, I'll be more bearish than bullish. I mean, the market is in a bullish structure, so price can continue to rip. But to be honest, when looking at Solana right now, I wouldn't really say that I'm bullish until I can see price flip this level. Once price actually flips this level and starts to consolidate above, then I'll be a lot more bullish and target the monthly, right? So then enter your trade, and that's about an 18% pump back up. Might even try to sweep these highs, right? So 20%. But if you want to think about where price can be at the end of the year, I mean, if the bull market really just start to crank up here, I mean, it's Solana, right? So it's been going crazy. So obviously previous all-time highs are not out of the question. Yeah, you know, first we got to get past this level here, 145. But I think by the top of the next bull run, I would not be surprised if Solana, if anything, worst case scenario, will at least get back to the all-time highs. Best case scenario is, you know, I don't know, where are we at right now? Let's see. I don't know, but let's just say for argument's sake, right? This probably isn't even a thing, but let's just say it targets maybe 500. I think Solana has the potential to hit 500. I think that's going to be its next target. I wouldn't be surprised if it does hit it. But it's got a long way to go. Let me try something here. Right. So from the absolute lows, right, somewhere right down there, pull to the top, all the way down to the lows again. Right. We get this golden pocket up here, which is hanging out around the 420, right below 450 mark, which, you know, to be honest, I think that could be a very reasonable target. Anywhere between 400 to 500. 500 just seems like a nice number, psychological number. So just like this, where did it stop last time? It stopped at 260. So it blew past 250. I think at least another double up of the all-time highs is possible. Just have to make sure you take a look at those tokenomics. I'm not sure how much is in the circulating supply, how much is going to be released, but you know, end of the year target, I don't really know, but end of the bull run target, I think Solana hits 500, to be honest. Yeah, GTO, I don't know anything about GTO, so I'm not really sure where I could think that's going to go. It has little to no price history, right? So hit that like too. Hit that like button for you, boy. One like. Leave a comment too if you want. I'm trying to grow this channel. Not trying, but I will. Yeah, GTO, who knows? This is a brand new coin. I have no idea where it wants to settle at. You have not too much price history. I think once we see GTO break these highs and we see how aggressive it moves past this high around $5, and it's in price discovery, right? Once it's in price discovery, then we can see what it really wants to do. But it's hard to tell with these new projects. The best way you can really anticipate what they're going to do is by their previous bull run history. And this one has no previous bull run history, right? So I can't even begin to tell you where I think this would go. But it does seem like it is a price action coin, just like Aptos, which you put there. OP is pretty price actiony too. Chiliz kind of calmed down a little bit more, but GTO seems to be a price action coin. And what I mean by that is when it does move, it seems to really move. Like what just happened today, right? Like it pretty much just had a extremely explosive move. You're talking 37% in the matter of 24 hours. Like that's crazy numbers. But yeah, I was charting this out. Not really interested in it anymore until it comes. If it could come down to this level, this daily down here, then I would definitely be considering another long around $1.75. It's going to be pretty critical support. If you pull the fib just from this move here, there you go. See, value area low is right down there. Point of control is where it's at right now, and then the value area high of the move. So yeah, like I said, I would expect to come around a 175-ish area. That's probably looking to long, to be honest. If it doesn't get down there, not really interested. I would be interested though, like I said, if it does fail this, come down, taps the VWAP, reclaims, and then I'll be looking for a long right here. Okay, so let's see here. That's enough with GTO. Let's see what else we got going on here. Okay, so next you said your basket for the basket for this year: BTC, ETH, Sol, AVAX, Link, OP, Aptos. Yeah, it's pretty solid portfolio. Chiliz is kind of a random one, but it does perform well. OP makes sense. Link makes sense. I like it. Aptos pretty well too. Yeah, Aptos was doing pretty well. I'm actually in an Aptos long right now still. As you can see where my entry was. I managed my position size, and now it's actually coming up to the weekly. So this is a very, very important level. I think it actually hit another one of my take profits. So very nice, 10% today. I was targeting this area, so I might be fully out of the trade. I have to double check. But if I'm not fully out of the trade, or did I think I actually put the full take profit right here. Yeah, at this daily level. Pit is moving. So yeah, I'm in an Aptos long, as you can see, entered down here. Entered here because of a few confluences, right? So we had this dynamic support. We had the anchored VWAP coming in. We had the swing failure of these lows. We also had the 886 from the low to the high. So a ton of confluence, and price was in a downward lower low a triangle. And I said, you know what, typically price does break out. It might retest and enter the long. I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and enter this long here, put my stop loss below all these lows, manage my position size, so only using 1/5 of my account. And yeah, this played out so well so far. So up 10%. Still in the long currently, I believe. Let me just triple check that just to make sure. Okay, so let's see here. No, I'm fully out. So that was my target. It hit. So it looks like the only longs I'm still in at the moment is I'm still in ETH from 2300 and also super. So this was a good long. Kind of wish I only took 75% out instead of 100 because this looks like it might just continue to rip. And in my opinion, if we go ahead and pull the fibs, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if price goes right up to these levels here. There's not much holding it here, so I could see price just shoot all the way up. But yeah, that was a good trade nonetheless. So time to look for the next one. I would be interested in Aptos again, though, if price does come down and test this daily level again and the opposite side of this golden pocket. Then I'll enter the long there and shoot for the moon, right? Let me go ahead and I'm just going to leave that there, actually. All right. So any other recommendations? So he said Solana. I'm not sure if you're still here. Let's see. I am also in a super long. This was kind of just like a random coin I found. Don't really know much about it, but it had an interesting chart. It seems to provide great technical analysis reactions. So here we go. Range low to range high, 50%. You can see price reacting at this line. It's a very important level. Trend line came up, tapped it, and it is rejecting. I am still in this trade, entered right here. To be honest, I wanted to get it into it a little bit lower, close to the weekly level here. But I did already take profit. So I'm just letting my runners run right now. But if price does come back down, I would be looking at definitely adding in right here. This is a great level. And then hopefully we get a push out. It breaks this. And I'm hoping what happened to Aptos, as you can see here. Let's take a look at Aptos, right? You see this? Trend line breakout. And it went for the moon, right? It just shot up crazy. So I'm assuming that this coin, which is, I like to call them price action coins, once they move, they really move, will hopefully do the same thing. So if we can get a retracement back to this level, I can enter in another long right around 0.5, 0.51. You can go up, break out. I wouldn't enter here. I would wait for that retest. And then go in. You can enter on the breakout, but you just have to be careful. Use your stop losses just so price doesn't just, reject and you end up getting wrecked. So, yeah, if we get down here, enter the long, or if we get a breakout, or if I miss this entry, we get a breakout, back test here, enter the long, and then hopefully target this weekly level right up there, which is from here, it's about 22%. From here, it's about 34%. Right? So yeah, thank you for joining. Anybody else has any more recommendations? I don't even know how long this stream's been going on. Let's see here. Yeah, I have no idea. Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at ETH. So I think let me see something here. I might still be in an ETH short. I am in an ETH short still, yeah. I entered at 25.81. So right here, I entered the short. Swing failure setup, that's why I entered it. Of the point of control. Now I do think usually what's going to happen is price is going to go up, probably wick past this level, test this other side of the golden pocket, and then come back down. If so, maybe my stop is actually somewhere up here. If so, if we just hit that, gets an exact swing failure pattern there and then come back down. Not too bad. But for right now, ETH is pretty bullish. It's holding that level. All right, there's support. I mean, it is range bound still, so you can technically look at that. 50%. Right there. There's your other range for you. Slight deviation. Now it's above it, so it might do something like this. Pump up, take the highs before doing another swing failure, right? So we'll just watch that. And you also have Bitcoin. Yeah, still staying above. Let's look at the CME. I don't know what just happened here. I don't know what's going on with that. Okay, there we go. So previous day value area high, came down, tapped it. Now it's value area low of the day. If price does come down into here and gets accepted into this level, then yeah, I would not be surprised if price comes all the way back down to this point of control down here. So we shall see. Bitcoin does look a little bit weak right now. Higher high, then a lower high after a lower low. Maybe the next lower low will bring you down into this value area low, about 43,006. Let's see here. Yeah, so yeah, not much really going on, but there is a ton of liquidity here, just building up, building up, building up. So when price decides to move down, it's going to move down very quickly and very aggressively. We're at a very important level, as you can see. This high right here was tapped. So a solid reaction or rejection should come in very shortly. Now, if we do manage to flip this level, then there's not much really stopping it from tackling the all-time highs once again. But for some reason, I think Bitcoin is going to have a pretty, I don't know, actually, with this ETF lingering, anything can happen. I wouldn't be surprised if the ETF really blasts this thing straight through, right to all-time highs before the halving. If we could break all-time highs before the halving, that will be something that's never happened before, actually. Not once has Bitcoin ever done that. As you can see, I think the halving happened somewhere, I don't even know, maybe around here, who knows. But price blasted, halving happened, and then obviously did not get close to all-time high until way after the halving, which I think happened somewhere around here. And then boom, price went crazy. But right now we're like one ETF news away from just completely blasting through all of this. But looking at the Coinbase chart, maybe 50,000 might be that psychological level that stops everything. Yeah, see this golden pocket and value area highs right at the 50,000 as well. So I would expect price after the ETF news comes out to impulse up just a little bit, take these highs, and then come down. And then that's when the massive rejection happens. Hopefully everyone takes profit and lives to trade another day. All right, so let's see here. Any other request. So you said you had a link. Let me just take a look at link. Let's see what your link bag's doing here. Let's check out this link bag. All right. Right. Came right up to the monthly, tapped it. Let's see what this weekly is looking like. Oh, you do have a weekly level right above it as well. Look at this consolidation. Over a year of consolidating. Oh my God. Crazy. Let's see here. Weekly level down here. Okay. Let's check the daily levels. Tapped. It's also a daily here too. Tapped. Don't like that. This is an interesting untapped daily. So I'm actually going to set an alert here because that would be an interesting area to enter a short. But mainly I would feel more comfortable once it takes this high. Right, so once that high is taken, and something like that, right? Even if it comes down, enter right here, or enter here. Expecting the move to come down a little bit more, not bad. Link on the other hand though, yeah, not really interested in taking any longs. I mean, it is above the point of control, so you can take it into the range highs. That's more than likely what will happen. But for right now, I think let's see something here. So trading above it. Yeah, I mean, if it does come back down to this level, I mean, it did do, like, look at this. As you can see, clearly support resistance just happening right here. So, you know, like, it's just a support resistance level. So if price could come back down just a little bit more into here, it's actually not a bad area to enter a long. Stop loss below the point of control, because this can still end up making you gain around 13%. So that's really not too bad. You do want to work with confluences though. So let's see here. No. Maybe from this move here. Let's see. Right off the anchored VWAP. Slight confluence, but not enough, really. I mean, I don't really like it. Let's see something. So it did break this trend. Yeah, I don't know. liking it. It's kind of respecting it a little bit, right? 1, 2, 3. Support, resistance, support, support. Little choppy, not really too clean. Don't really like it too much, but price is respecting it a little bit here. As you can see, bounced right off the line. Bounce, 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 bounce. It's not a bad channel actually, but this seems like a channel where you're mostly looking for areas to short. Bounced off the anchored VWAP, which is pretty nice. Yeah, I mean, there's not much you can do. You can basically just take another long here if you'd like, or wait for price to come down a little bit more and long it into the daily, about 13% away, which is actually still a very nice move. You just have to make sure you use the right risk management. But I think price has basically left the building. But at the same time, it did just recently flip this resistance into support, so that is actually very bullish as long as price holds. If price could hold this level, then yeah, you can take a long 13% up, take profit, call it a day. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I don't see any more questions coming in. Hit that like button for me. Leave a comment, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this again tomorrow. I'm gonna try to do this every day at around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for joining, and that is pretty much it.